Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with Retire Different. Retire Different is a community of people who want to ask great questions in order to make really good financial decisions so they can have a wonderful retirement. And at Retire Different, we look at this subject holistically. Money is part of our lives. It is not just the dollars and cents that we earn in the workplace. It's the way that we save and invest and the relationship that we have with money. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that has become very current actually and on trend and maybe something that you're considering. Now, it's about living in your 60s and 70s in retirement. Now, I had roommates when I was in college. I can remember this very faintly because, you know, in those days you just want a cheap place to live and it didn't matter who you were hanging out with. But I remember it all ending very badly. And I wrote about this in the article which I'm referring here. But I basically didn't have another roommate in my life until I got married, of course. And then that was a bit more of a serious commitment for many years. But and I enjoy being obviously in a relationship and being in a place with other people. My children, of course, joined us at that time, and it was really, just a wonderful period of my life. And I enjoyed a busy house. But as you get into retirement, your kids leave home, they go to college or start their own lives and careers, and you are then facing, the decision about how you want to live. Now, some people love living alone. They just enjoy that spaciousness. They've been maybe in a crazy, busy environment for years, and now they want to be by themselves. But a lot of people, for different reasons, want to live with another person, as a roommate or a housemate. In England, they call it a flatmate. But it's just someone who you're sharing a space with and you're not related to them. That's kind of the definition. Now, I have another website that we've developed for our 60andMe community called Learn to Simplify. And in Learn to Simplify, we talk about downsizing in general, and also co-living for boomers, because co-living is a very simple, minimalist way of living in a very small, a place, a bedroom, or a small suite, small studio, when you have common communal areas as well to share. And so that's another option. So all these different ways of living in community are what I want to talk about in this article. Now, have you considered getting a roommate or a housemate? Have you got a big space and an extra room, or you want just to make a little bit of extra money, or just have someone nearby? Well, those are, first of all, two of the best reasons to consider getting a roommate or flatmate in your life. You can keep your costs low. Now, one of our community members mentioned that she was earning like $500 a month on a room she was renting out, and that can equate to $150,000 in retirement savings. If you think about having that much in retirement savings, 500 is what you're going to earn from that saving. So if you can make that amount of money by having a roommate or a flatmate, it really makes a big difference. So saving money is one of the top reasons and motivators that people often choose to have a person living in the house with them. You can stay social, and fight loneliness. I mean, social isolation and loneliness is a very big issue for older people. Now, it's not, when I say older, I mean even in your 50s, when you perhaps have divorced or you are alone after your children have left the house. It's a very different world, and it's hard to make friends after 50 or 55, 60. It's very difficult. In our 60andMe community, we actually did a survey, and 75% of the women who answered, and it was a large group, we reach about 500,000 women in 60andMe, over 60, and they said 75% said they felt lonely at some time. Now, that's different than being alone. That's lonely. And another study that we mentioned in the article says that 40% of people in their 50s say that they feel lonely a lot of the time. So getting a flatmate or a roommate can help and fight loneliness and keep us social. And it's nice to have someone to watch TV with or to have a drink with, or just to bounce ideas off of. I mean, the Golden Girls kind of phenomenon is returning. Lots of women are getting together and doing sort of co-housing operations. But there's so many different variations now on a theme. I mentioned co-living. That's become a very, very popular trend for millennials, but also for boomers. It's now becoming a very big trend. So the next thing that the benefit that you can get from getting a roommate or flatmate is stay safe and independent. Now, if you're in your 50s and 60s, things happen to your body. You know that you get, a little weaker sometimes. You've got mobility issues, and things happen. I know I broke my ankle twice in my 50s. So far, touch wood, in my 60s, 70s, I'm not. But, it's like I haven't done anything yet to harm my little feet. But yeah, just because I was careless. And one time I actually, one of our community members talks about this too. I actually broke my ankle stepping off. I missed a step. And I actually sat on the ground, unable to move until, one of my children saw me and came out and got me. Well, imagine 10 years in the future and there's an empty house. Who's going to help you? And our community member explains how her flatmate basically saved her life. She came out and picked her up off the ground and got her in the house and to the hospital. So having independence and a safety net is also another really good reason to consider getting a flatmate or roommate in your life. So, how to find a roommate? Well, that's a big challenge, isn't it? It's not like just sort of putting a note out on the door, but you can put notes on your community centers or church or somewhere where there's I'm looking for a roommate. Of course, you've got to do screening. You've got to be very careful that you're going into the right places. But just ask your neighbors, ask people around you. You'll be surprised how much knowledge there is in a community that you may not have access to. So, there are some sites, I think the ones like roommates.com, roomie.com are designed more, again, for the millennial individual, someone in their 20s and 30s who are looking, they're working locally, they just want a place to really stay while they're not at work. They don't really want a big house or the responsibility. So a lot of these roommate sites are geared for them. But there are some that are more designed for the older person, like, for example, silvernest.com or Roommates for Boomers. That's with the number 4, Roommates for Boomers. Those are ones that are designed specifically for older people. And I say older in the sense that it's only because we have a different set of expectations. Maybe we want more solitude or a little quieter environment. We've got things we want to do. We want to maybe do some reading or our crafts or our work, or maybe are working from home in our 60s and in retirement. So we're looking for a different kind of home setup. Anyway, those are 2 examples. The links are in the article, and I know both of those. I've not used them, but I do know the people involved with them, and I can recommend that you check them out. So those are if you're looking for a roommate. And when I say roommate in those situations, I mean a room in a house, not sharing a room like a roommate. So that's those are 2, and maybe you know others. Please let me know if you have any others that you know of. As I mentioned, you can do a post roommate wanted or a room space in a house wanted, and it's not just, as I said, about the money. It's really about thinking of saving money, independence and safety, and loneliness. Getting those 3 things, looked after, and it's just kind of maybe a new way of looking at your life that would be fun. You can try it and see if it's okay for you. And you never know, you might find some friends. Your new housemate might become a good friend. So that's just some reasons for getting a roommate, flatmate, housemate after 60. Have you tried this? Are you actually a roommate or flatmate in someone's house? Or have you let a room in your own property? I'd really like to know what you think about this sort of downsizing of the living space that you're in and whether that has worked for you in retirement. Leave your comments in the section below. I really appreciate you being here, leaving your thoughts and sharing your ideas. It's what Retire Different is all about, and I look forward to reading your comments and joining the conversation. So take care, everybody. Have a really great time today, whatever you've got planned, and we'll talk again soon. So bye for now. Bye-bye.